Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome back to another Assassin Apocalypse. This is the follow-up series for the Warrior Wednesdays, but with this one we'll discuss every single assassin. This time around we are going to take a look at Ne Zha. Ne Zha seems easy, but she has a lot of interesting things in her kit, which makes her pretty powerful. So let's head right into it. Start off with her passive. Her passive, for now, you can... I will tell you what it will do later. It has to do with his second ability. But basically, when you hit an enemy with an auto attack, you will gain a stack. If you crit an enemy, you will gain an additional stack. So you can get double stacks if you do one auto attack that crits. The maximum amount of stacks are 20 stacks. And it's each enemy hit. So Ne Zha has a basic attack chain where the last auto in a 4-hit attack chain is an AoE. So hitting with the AoE grants you multiple stacks depending on how many you hit. Already picked up first blood. She overextended a bit. I might pay for it. I need to be very careful. But I don't think they will be Phoenix diving this soon. They will actually, but they will pay for it and not get me. Interesting. So, this point already level 5. We are ahead by a lot. Already 4 kills in the pocket. So, let's continue with her first ability. His first ability. Dang it. What? His first ability is Ring Toss. You will throw out a ring that will bounce on enemies. It will bounce on minions, it will bounce on gods, but it will bounce to the nearest god or minion in the range that has not been hit yet. So that has some interesting things to it. You can't really use it if two are very close to each other, but there's still a minion wave. It will bounce to the minion wave. What does this ring toss do other than just dealing damage? By the way, the times it bounces depends on the level. At rank 1 it will bounce 3 times. At rank 5 it will bounce 7 times. So an additional bounce each level. Enemies hit by the ring are slowed by 25% for 1 second. And also they get a protection debuff. 15 protections are stripped per time they are hit. So that can stack up very nicely. It can bounce between 2 gods, basically hitting each one of them for I think 3 or 4 times. So you can do the math. It will do about it will move about 60-45 protections if they bounce between 2 gods. So that's very powerful. This debuff will last for 3 seconds, so pretty decent. And it also increases Ne Zha's movement speed. Every ring hit will provide Ne Zha a 5% additional movement speed, so that will scale up to a 35 additional movement speed. Here I was forced out my beats. I heard the Koken ultimate and I needed to dodge that one. So I needed to use my beats, unfortunately enough. Especially since we're against an Ares, that can be difficult. But it's not the only thing. I have to deal with that. Nice beats from the Koken. Actually avoiding my ult, but I'll get back to my ult later. Let's continue with his second ability. His second ability has to do with his passive. When you activate your second ability, you will consume all your passive stacks and healing you for 1.25% of your maximum HP per stack. So that will, if you're fully stacked to 20 stacks on your passive, you will get 25% of your health back as healing. So that's very powerful. And an amount of health someone can be surprised by. There are some other things with it. For instance, when you activate it, it will grant you a buff. This buff will last for 4 to 6 seconds depending on the rank. It will increase your attack speed by 15% to a total of 55% depending on the rank, starting at 15%. And it will also increase your crit chance by 15%. So that's really a lot to it. Crit build very effective with 55 additional percentage attack speed. She is late game, he is late game. very powerful. I'm saying she or he the time. It is a male god, but kind of looks and acts like a female. So that's also something he has to him. You can also bounce through the minions. As you can see here, I use the minion to go for it. And at this point, I want to avoid Amaterasu ultimate, so I go into my ultimate. But let's continue first with my third ability, since I haven't covered that one. His third ability is a sash. He will throw out, it's not kind of throw out, but he will try to hit an enemy god with it at a long range, dealing damage, stunning the opponent. So it will damage on impact already. It will deal damage. You will go towards your targets that you hit, and you will be next to them. This ability can crit, so that's also quite interesting. If you're building crit, your third ability can crit someone, so dealing additional damage. And while you are going towards someone, you are immune for being hit by anything other than your ultimate, or any damage over times. But you can't be hit by, for instance, Kokon ultimate. You can avoid Kraken with it if you time it right. It's just when he's going the way to the enemy, then at that point you will have target immunity, so you can't be targeted. So let's continue with his final ability. His ultimate. You've seen me use it a few times. Ne Zha dashes forward, dealing damage, and with that damage you can do a lot. You go into the sky, and at this point I'm pretty much dead. The Kokon ultimate secured that kill on me, but I can get my second active. Aegis will definitely help out a lot for that. So you will dash forward. If you hit an enemy god, you will take them to the sky. Once you're in the sky, you can hit. You need to click at the right moment to get a critical hit on your ultimate, dealing more damage. This critical hit has effect with Deathbringer, so you will deal additional damage with those crits if you have Deathbringer. Also, you are out of the fight for a particular timing. You will have the immunity in the sky. You can't be targeted by anything. If you are dotted or anything, that damage will continue, so you can die in your ultimate if you have low enough health and the dot is on you. It will deal damage 4 times if I'm correct, and also upon landing. When you land with your ultimate, oh my god, that was a lot of burst. So when you will land with your ultimate, there's a small area of effect where you went into the sky, where you have an additional damage and knockback if someone is beneath it from the enemies or the minions. So that can deal a lot of damage, give you a kind of safe landing zone when you land, because you are in the air for quite a while. And as you can see, I go in the ult, click, click, click. You need to click at the right moments to get those crits, so it's very important to get them in time. At this point I try to dodge. I figured she missed her first shot, that was not the case. And Habwa, Water Sprout with the Soul Reaver secures the kill on me. I let my team know that the Soul Reaver is down. That will be down for a minute, so definitely something that might be useful for my team to know. That they won't get bursted so quickly as I did. So his ultimate is quite interesting. While you're also dashing, you have CC immunity. And if you're dashing with your ultimate onto another Ne Zha on the enemy team, it's actually a 50-50 chance who will take the other into the sky. That's a very interesting thing I tested in my Mythbusters video. I'm still not sure why that is the way it is, but that's alright. So she has a very interesting kit. You can do a lot with it. You have the healing potential, the 25% of your maximum healing when you're fully stacked on your passive. You have the ring toss that slows, gives you movement speed, removes protections. You have the crit on your second ability and the attack speed. You have the stun and the damage avoidance with your third ability if you use it at the right moment. And you have your ultimate for CC immunity, taking someone out of the fight for a while, dealing a huge amount of damage, which actually triggers more with crits. At this point, trying to chase up to the Kukulkan, but he's just too fast. I didn't have my ring to provide me additional movement speed. But something what Ne Zha is very good at, if Ne Zha uses Sash, his third ability, on you, you might expect his ultimate to come out, because you can't miss it at that point. And if they don't know your ultimate is down, you can still force out beats sometimes. What happened here twice. I stunned the Kukulkan as well as the enemy Habois, I think. And that made sure they use their beats. It also removes the stun for them, but you usually expect a Ne Zha ult after a Sash. That's also a way to bait beats. Wait a bit with your ultimate. It is quite difficult to hit as a free aim ultimate, as you probably have noticed me missing a few times, but it still grants CC immunity during the dash, so it's still good counter to Ares ultimate. But definitely very need to be a bit careful about it. I have a bit of high ping, that's okay. I do need to be a bit careful at that point. This was not a good idea, definitely not. But the free aim ultimate on the Habois, hitting him for a whole lot. As you can see, it hit 200 per hit. It will damage on hit and when landing, so it can deal a lot. But it's single target, so, and can be difficult to hit. Can be countered by beats. If you beat in time, you will be free from it. That's why you see someone use beats. Do need to be a bit careful. I don't want to get ulted by a Y. I'm not sure if his ultimate is up, but that's something I need to be careful for. But okay, so I covered every single ability, a lot of interesting things to it. And stacking off the passive is very important in some cases, because you can get a lot of healing out of it unexpected, keeping you into the fight. I recommend leveling up your ring toss first. It's your main ability, deals a lot of damage, especially with two gods being hit. As you may see here, me using it, as you can see it bounces between them, dealing a huge amount of damage, removing protections, slowing them, increasing my movement speed, just doing a whole lot. Very powerful. Then I recommend, well, at least maxing out your ultimate first, leveling every single time you can with your ultimate. And your third ability actually before your second ability, interesting enough. Since they changed Ne Zha's passive, I recommend getting that one first up, because it will deal damage, and if it crits a lot. And since you activate your 2 for the healing more than you do it for the additional attack speed, I definitely think that's a better way. Again, using my ultimate to prevent being pulled by the Ares. If you hit, something interesting I forgot to mention, if you hit the ultimate from a range, from a larger range, you will return from the spot where you started your ultimate dash. Sometimes that can throw off someone, because almost everyone expects a Ne Zha to ult after a Sash, landing in the same exact spot they are at the moment in the air, but she will land down somewhere else if she hit it from a distance. After that, leveling up your 2, of course, as the last ability. They're all good abilities, but I definitely recommend leveling up those others first, because that gives you a bit more burst potential. Not that the attack speed is bad, but especially since it's also a healing feature, I kinda recommend doing that this way. Kinda wanted to go for the Ymir, didn't work that way, and again Soul Reaver from the Habois with Water Sprout. That pesky combination of Water Sprout really screwing me over every single time. Habois dealing a lot of damage. Ne Zha is fairly difficult sometimes to get rid of someone that's on you. She has no escapes other than her 3, sorry, and her ultimate, and of course the movement speed increase with the ring toss, but that sometimes can be very difficult to deal with, especially if you want to dodge something. If you don't have your 3 up or your ultimate up enough, as you can see here, I used my ult on a CC immune Amaterasu, won't do anything, but as you can see the heal coming, and fortunately enough, again a beautiful Water Sprout dealing a bunch of damage, just insane. But he is in a Phoenix, he will die. A bit too greedy if you go into the Phoenix. So my build, kinda already had the entire game, but let's start off with the build I went for. I went for the power boots first, just because you need the mobility a lot. Again, Soul Reaver down on Habois. Second item, I always recommend getting Jotun's Wrath. Jotun's is just a lot better because it provides you power, pen, cooldown reduction, all the things Ne Zha needs to deal a good amount of damage, especially with her powerful abilities, his powerful abilities. And whoa, critting huge! That's why I have my third item. My third item is the Deathbringer. Deathbringer, very powerful, dealing so much damage whenever you crit. Also, there is an auto attack progression on Ne Zha. The interesting thing about the progression, other than the fact that the fourth auto attack is an AoE, as you can see here, it also has to do with the fact that the attack chain deals additional damage. His fourth attack deals twice the damage than the normal auto attack, dealing such a huge amount of damage. So if you crit on your last hit with your auto attack being the AoE, you will wreck them big time. At that point, after you have the Deathbringer, you need something to keep yourself alive a bit better. I like to go for the Winged Blade. It provides you additional movement speed if you are slowed, and it just provides you additional health, which might help you a lot, and some CC immunity. Was a bit too early on that Aegis, and again Water Sprout picked me up. That Water Sprout's really pesky this game, but Hobwa was picked up, so his greed kinda didn't work out in his favor that much. But he was able to pick me up, I'll give him that. I went for Titan's Bane afterwards. Titan's Bane provides you a huge amount of damage increase on your ultimate, definitely recommend getting that one. And the last item I picked is Brawler's Beatstick, just for the additional pen and power. For Brawler's Beatstick you can pick up other items. Sometimes you want to go for a Bulwark of Hope if you feel like you need a defense more than anything of the damage. But I feel like if I hit someone of the mages with this build, I will burst them instantly. If their ultimates, if their beasts are down and my ultimate can hit them. Let's see if I can hit a long range. Yes, I can. You turn around and as you can see, 375 damage each hit. Barely not enough. Nice hit from the Nox, secures that kill. So Aoquang actually got Koken, sorry, actually got killed by just 2 ultimates. At this point I see Hobwa try to dodge. I dodge his Water Sprout. Water Cannon, unfortunately I was not able to. I was on my own, I couldn't really dodge anyway. I could have gone to the Ares, but Ares would have done the same thing. I didn't have any healing, I didn't have my 3 up. Otherwise I might have been able to crit the Hobwa for a whole lot. 2 points to go, let's go for the Ares, and a huge crit. Also some other item you could pick up. Instead of the Titan's Bane, if you're not against such a tanky targets as I was, you could pick up a Malice. Malice is very powerful, definitely something you could get on Ne Zha. Provides a good amount of power, and the crits on your ultimate will trigger the damage over time from Malice. So definitely very powerful, also a good recommendation. As you can see, whole bunch of damage, and if you see some of the crits I did, you definitely can understand why this can be such a powerful god. But it's all about positioning and being very resourceful with your abilities. I was able to dodge a lot, bait out the Amaterasu a few times with the heal on my 2, with the passive of course. And after that, with the attack speed bursting her down, you can use your 3 to avoid a lot of the damage if you time it at the right moment. You can use your ultimate to avoid some CC or get someone out of the fight. I used it a few times with the Ares ultimate, taking someone to the sky. They can also not follow up on the Ares ultimate while they are in the air. They can't do anything. So definitely very powerful. Also the ring toss, very annoying to deal with sometimes, especially if it bounces between 2 gods. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something about Ne Zha. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.